This is not a cult. The greatest threat to the triangle yet. I believed in everyone every step of the way.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Glad you made it through. TRRS trustworthy Rob.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Hologram looks great.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
I'm crying. He came back to us. They hit him with the COVID gun and he made it. Bless.
2. It's working. For some reason all my settings were all like reset. The mic setting wasn't on there. The mic setting was not on there. Not selected the proper device. 2. The Great Reset. Hello. Hello, friends. I made it. I'm here. I'm back. It was last Wednesday that the stream was unfortunately interrupted. It was last Wednesday, and here I am 1 week later. But at what cost? We don't know yet. We don't know. You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this. Ugh. You're not immune to propaganda or COVID. I'm immune to propaganda. I mean, I am that. Turns out I am not immune to the novel coronavirus. I am not immune. I thought I was. By the way, I gotta thank some folks here. Okay, Pissed. I'm happy you're with us today, Pissed. We missed you. Thank you for the 16 months resub at tier 2. Thank you, Pissed. Thank you, Dakadoon. 15 months resub at tier 3. Thank you, Dakadoon. G Cluppy, thank you for the 21 months. Thank you, G Cluppy. I hope you're doing okay, too.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Fellow COVID haver, G Cluppy, I hope you're feeling better a little bit. Sean, 18 months, tier 1. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you, 10,000 sandwiches. 21 months resub at tier 2. Thank you very, very much, 10,000 sandwiches. Very much appreciated. Red Wine Terrorist, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Or TRRS, sorry, I always pronounced that wrong. Red Wine Terrorist. 10 gifted subs. How kind of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Rob was airlifted to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center and underwent experimental medical treatment. Yeah, I was off at Fort Hood. The last week. Thank you again, Red Wine Terrorist. Thank you, Alana, for the 200 bits. Dakadoon, 200 bits. Thank you very much, Dakadoon.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
G Cluppy, thank you for the 300 bits. Thank you, G Cluppy, again. Alana, thank you for the gifted sub. Very kind of you, Alana. Gen X Bushy, thank you for the gifted sub. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate that as well. Sunny Sola for the gifted sub. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
count on me.
that.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean, for the gifted sub. We were a mess without you. Okay, there, I said it. Well, I was a mess too. As it turns out. Did you get the adrenochrome COVID treatment? No. In fact, I wish I had gotten the adrenochrome COVID treatment. I was just using regular ass Tylenol and Advil and stuff, and frankly, it was not enough. It was not nearly good enough. On that subject, maybe I should take some Tylenol right now, right this very moment.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Well, I'll be. Look who it is. Usanova gun.
Usanova gun. Thank you, King Window. King Window, thank you for the 22 months, tier 1, and all the support. King Window. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, everyone. What a nice welcome back to Twitch. What a nice welcome back. Ugh. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. I'm not 100%. I'm between 78 and 82%, I would say. I'm between 78 and 82%. I'm really tired too. It's definitely not bad. I'm getting up to like my normal levels of feeling like shit. I mean, it's like when I'm at my most normal levels, I never feel good, per se, you know. I'm getting back to my regular like middle-aged man, just bad physical feeling. I'm almost back to that level. So, you know, I'm almost there. Our brave and fearless leader hath returned death. God. Functioning levels of shit. There we go. Yeah. Rob is a pioneer for the low energy stream. And this is exactly what this will be. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel worried every day that my body feels fine still in my mid-30s, but I'm not in good shape at all. Yeah, you probably should be waiting for the other shoe to drop, yeah. Wait for the other shoe to drop on that. My left ankle has been fucked for 2 days now because I think I simply mowed my yard too hard on Sunday. That'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, my goodness. What a week. What a week, folks. Brutal. I gotta say, you know, we've been like, we're a couple years into this COVID pandemic. And I do have to admit that I do not recommend contracting the novel coronavirus. It was really very unpleasant. Very, very unpleasant. Really bad stuff. I missed you all, though. I missed you all. I was a little frustrated because, like, I was kind of trying to get back on a full-time schedule of the stream. And G Clubby, my advice just came a little too late. I wasn't quite clear enough, and G Clubby was like, "Well, Rob got it, so I just have to get it." But no, I don't agree with that. That's not my direction. I appreciate the enthusiasm. I appreciate G Clubby saw that I had COVID and immediately just went out unmasked, just hugging people all over the place in an effort to sort of like make me feel better. But if you had asked me, I would have said, no, try to avoid that. Again, I appreciate the enthusiasm. Don't think I don't. I don't think Rob even made it through Mission Impossible Night on day 2 of it. Yeah, no, I was still vaguely, I was mostly awake by the time it was over, but the moment it was finished, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I was trying to riff. And have a good time, but I was still right in the thick of it. Sorry, G Clubby is copying you. It's all right, Squatch. It's all right. I'm used to it. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. My last stream was last Tuesday, and it was very strange. Like I felt totally fine that day. I started coughing a little like at that night, but I felt totally not sick at all. I felt like I had swallowed something or like something had gone down the wrong tube or something. And I was wondering, like, why am I coughing? I had a bad cough like 2 weeks ago. I feel like I've been sick for the last fucking month. And I was coughing a little, but I just really, I don't know what was going on. And then went to sleep Tuesday night. Ms. Squatch is leaving for work, but waved at the screen and said, bye, everyone. And I said, I don't think that'll work, but I'll text chat. You said bye. Well, I guess it did work then. I guess it did work. The message was received. Went to sleep Tuesday night feeling like totally okay. A little bit of a cough, but I was like, I didn't know what was going on. And woke up in the middle of the night. So early, around 2 a.m. Wednesday, just like entire body pain. All my skin was like, I felt like bugs were crawling on my skin. I was sweating. My body hurt. Felt just horrible. And then I finally managed to get back to sleep and just woke up the next morning, 101 degree fever. Just my whole body was just pain. Just with the every inch of your skin feels like it has pain on it and muscles. And I just couldn't move. I could not move. Wednesday morning, I was just completely, totally incapacitated. Really not nice. Really, really not good. And just with, just taking Tylenol or whatever, managed to get the fever down, had a little bit more energy and was sleeping a lot, but tested positive for COVID and tried to kind of like isolate. Did you try listening to Steely Dan to cure you? I did not. But I think the idea of like putting in headphones or like doing anything just made me feel bad. I don't want to say I've got the cure because that would be misinformation, but it might not be too late for you, G. Clippy. Have you considered taking 2 ibuprofen and following it up with 2 to 3 white Monster energy drinks per day? Because I have not gotten it yet. I mean, this is like... I mean, coming from my perspective, I was absolutely someone that had been lulled into, I think, kind of a sense of complacency. And I know that we all have like COVID fatigue from like the last few years of this going on. And I had just been through a whole year of my kid going to kindergarten, and I had not gotten it, or if I had, I was like, I didn't really notice anything. So I guess I had told myself that I was just one of the lucky ones, that my amazing genes or my amazing immune system or whatever was protecting me. And I was kind of just like, obviously it's a big deal for some people, and I wear masks when I go out in public, and I try to like take precautions, but overall for myself, like I don't really feel too worried about it anymore. And I definitely had this sense of sort of complacency setting in. And definitely, lo and behold, not good. It's not good to get coronavirus, especially this new variant. A lot of nausea as well, right? It's like the kind of like the flu symptoms, nausea, coughing, just like sweating. Like I was isolating down here in the basement and just sweating through all my clothes and all my blankets. The coughing kind of came a couple days later. I'm still nauseous and I'm still tired. So I guess it was a painful reminder for me that there is indeed still a pandemic going on. You're probably not immune from it. Like maybe you're lucky enough not to have had it, especially this new variant. Like maybe there's been other variants that weren't quite as bad.
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Welcome back, Rob. I sent you thoughts and prayers. Hope they were received.
Thank you, Sophisticated Pills. 19 months of Tier 1. I appreciate that. And yes, they were received and was much needed. And I appreciated it. Thank you. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, you feel hot and cold at the same time. This is what I mean. It's like I would be under my blanket just sweating profusely, just like feeling like I'm in a fucking oven. And then the moment you like take an arm out or a foot out or whatever, and it's just like like a chill, like having brutal chills and a headache too. Headache, like really strong headache for like 3, 4, 5 days. Just so unpleasant. It was just so unpleasant, folks. I must say, it was very shitty. It does sound like shit, and it was shit. But aside from that, not too bad as well. Risk Inverse just getting over. I'm happy to hear you're feeling better too, Risk Inverse. Mr. Kleppy all week has been like, why don't you get up from under the comforter? You're sweating so much. It's because I am also freezing cold. Yeah, it's quite the conundrum. And it's really hard. Like having kids too has made it really difficult. Like my kid was at my mom's house the whole time. And in fact, I believe that I got COVID from the Walmart in Brockville, Ontario, where of course, maybe 1% of the store was wearing masks when I was in there. Remember when I came back on Monday and I was talking about Walmart going, oh, I love going to Walmart, even though I'm a socialist and everything and capitalism bad, but I go to Walmart and I'm transfixed by all the products and everything. I remember that whole thing that I was doing. Oh, you're all laughing at that, right? And then I believe that is where I contracted the novel coronavirus. So my kid was there. The famous Walmart in Brockville with the football field-sized Canadian flag. That flag is so fucking big. That is the biggest fucking flag I've ever seen in my life. It's so bizarre. You can see it from like 50 kilometers away. Ridiculous. This was communist karma. That's right. It was like the ghost of Mao, or someone was like, I don't think so. Walmart really does have everything. That's right. It could have been from the McDonald's. I stopped by the McDonald's in Walmart. I got one of those. I got a chicken McMuffin. You know that they have a new McMuffin product that's like with a chicken on it. getting one of those. That might have been what got me. I don't know. So my kid was at my mom's house the whole week though, and they thankfully avoided it, my mom and my stepdad, so I'm pretty sure I got it just on the way back. Walmart, dozens of varieties of the novel coronavirus at the best prices, and that was absolutely free of charge. They threw that in totally free of charge. The chicken McGriddle. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds wonderful. That sounds really good. I went to the dock on Monday. No one was wearing masks, even staff. Yeah, Lodane, it's like that's what I mean about the COVID fatigue, right? And you feel yourself maybe getting influenced by it. And I still, like, I wore a mask when I was in the Walmart, just to be clear. I was not maskless. I always still wear a mask when I go to the grocery store or the Walmart or whatever, but it didn't seem to, as we know, it can prevent you from spreading your germs everywhere, but it doesn't prevent you entirely from breathing in everyone else's bullshit there. But that's what I mean. It's like you still have that like lingering kind of sensation, like is the pandemic's finished now, right? It's no more pandemic. Look at you walk around, no one's wearing masks, you know. Still very dangerous situation though. So I was fortunate that my mom or my stepdad didn't get it, but of course my partner got it. And my stepson, he got it as well and gave it to his grandpa, who thankfully is okay. Like it's really scary how it like can immediately just infect an entire household. Cause when I tested positive, my partner and her son, they were both negative. So he left to go stay somewhere else so I could more easily isolate. But then I guess there was some kind of like a delayed reaction. He gave it to his grandparent. And like, it was really like, really, really scary. And so from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, my kid was not there. And then like he came back, he had to come back Friday. My mom was like, I got to take him back. He's ready. He's been with me for a week and he's been good, but he needs to come home. He really wants to go home. And we really tried. And like, that's the really tricky thing about being a parent. We talked a little bit about this in the Discord server, but, what I really, really wanted was just to like not do anything for the entire weekend. I just wanted to lie down. I didn't want to get out of bed. And you have kids and it's like, it's not really an option. And so he came back on Friday when I was a little bit better, but still just like really not doing very well. And I'm trying to wear a mask all day, like in my house, in my own house to try and try to do what we can to prevent him from getting it, which he inevitably did. So he got it as well, although he seemed totally fine. He had like a day or two of like mild symptoms, and then he seems totally fine though. How's your breathing? My breathing is okay. Like, I think my understanding about this kind of current variant that's going around is that like, it doesn't quite have the same sort of pneumonia kind of effect on your lungs. So that's maybe one of the reasons. And even though I don't even think it is like less deadly, but I don't think it has quite the same effect on like, fluid in lungs. It's more like a really bad flu, which is, it's frustrating too about all the COVID sort of denialists saying like, it's just a flu. It's just a flu. Why are you freaking out? And it's like, well, first of all, it fucking sucks to have the flu. Number one, and like maybe we should try and avoid spreading that to every single person that we meet still, even if it is just a flu, and even if it's not the fucking virus from the stand. It still really sucks to have the flu. And it was like, if it is just like the flu, it's like the worst fucking flu that you can have. It's really made me feel horrible for multiple days. Thank you, Ainsley. Hope you feel better soon. And Ainsley said something else. I'm on immunosuppressants, so I've been wearing N95s, but I don't go out much because people are coughing at each other now. They don't give a fuck. Yeah. Well, it's funny, like people that are like not wearing masks and coughing, but they're like, oh, don't worry, it's not COVID. It's like, well, still, maybe you should still avoid spreading your disgusting germs all over the place, even if it isn't COVID. How about that? I literally thought I was going to die from the last actual flu I got. Yeah, it's like, it's horrible to have the flu. And I was seriously like Wednesday night, like there was a couple nights that like Wednesday night I was like, am I dying? Like I was actually asking myself that question. I was like, am I dying right now? I don't know. Like I think I actually am. And there was a couple nights where I thought that, you know, it's like, I feel like I'm dying now.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It's
Cough,
just a
hey,
flu.
I'm the
You guys, we have
president of the
vaccines
U.S.
for that.
Shake my cough-covered hand.
Thank you, Justinian, for the 14 months tier 1. Thank you. Hello, up the Reds. I'm back. I'm back, baby. I don't know, where was I? That was a really hard part though, is like having my kid come back and just like I felt so bad, and I'm trying to wear a mask at all times to try and prevent him from getting it. Which made me feel worse. There was one point where like I was just feeling so bad, like I was feeling like, you know, just I was suffocating just from like feeling so horrible and trying to wear a mask for like the entire day in your house. And there was a point where I was trying to like watch my kid and kind of hang out. I let him watch a lot of TV, but just kind of trying to like hang out with him. And at one point, like I felt really bad because he, you know, if you have a little kid, you're familiar with this, but like they ask you a lot of the same questions over and over. And he for like 2 years, he's asked me some variation of the question about why when people fall like off a cliff or when they fall off something, they go, ah. And I've answered this question hundreds of times. And normally it's fine. You know, he's a little kid. He's thinking about this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't mind. But like, I just got to a point. It wasn't about saying, ah, it was about, because I showed him the scene a couple days ago in the Tim Burton Batman film when Joker falls off the cathedral at the end of the movie. And I was just like hanging on by a thread and just felt really physically bad and really mentally bad as well. And he'd asked me a bunch of questions over and over again. And at one point he was like, why when Joker fell off the building, he went like this? You know? And I immediately just started having like a panic attack. I was like, I don't know why he did that. Please stop asking me this, please. And I just started crying immediately and just started crying and panicking. Cause like, I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, I don't know. And I just started like losing it. I had to like go away. My partner was like, okay, I think I'm going to take over now. I don't know why Joker did that. That's what it was like. It was tricky having the kid around and not really being able to relax to the extent that I wanted to. It was one of those stories where Rob is laughing, but I'm not sure if I should be laughing. No, you should laugh. I mean, it was funny. It was funny in retrospect. At the time, though, I was not feeling very good. Chris, poor Venom. Imagine that therapy session, the survival monkey 20 years from now. He's already forgotten. He doesn't care. He doesn't mind. Here's a guy who thinks falling off a building is funny. I was not doing good. I was barely hanging on there. But feeling mostly better now. I feel mostly better. Definitely not 100%, but close enough. I'm gonna fix my hair here. I am happy to get back to doing the stream. I don't think I'm going to be going too long today. Again, I'm still pretty tired, but I wanted to do a couple hours of the stream today. You know, I missed you all. I missed the chat. the weird laugh the Joker's toy thing is making after his fall is deeply ingrained in my memory. Well, he's obsessed with that now. Because then we watched the movie. The next day we watched the movie. I had tried to show it to him before, and he didn't. For some reason, he just wasn't all the way into it. But then, I think because I had showed him the ending, that made him want to watch the whole thing. We often do impressions of the toy too. He really likes it. You had COVID. Yes, I did. Yes, I had COVID. 1 week ago was when I woke up and had the symptoms and tested positive. And I'm just kind of now getting back to the point where I can do the stream. It's only going to stream for 9 hours. That's right. Well, good 8.5 because it's just I'm not feeling quite up to my normal standards. That's the sound. The Joker, the little laugh box that he has there. Kids are really obsessed with people falling off things. And you really notice that when you're a parent and you start watching a lot of kids' movies. Like every single kids' movie has a scene where someone falls off something and falls off a cliff, into water especially. This happens in like so many films. COVID buggered me up properly. Dave, that's like the most British sounding comment. COVID buggered me up properly. Took a long time to get back to full strength, innit? Sorry to make fun of you, but that's just it was very exceptionally Britishly phrased that. But yes, it buggered me up as well. I still think it's going to be a little while before I am totally sort of back to where I was before. Not that I was the picture of health before. I mean, I feel like I was just talking last week before all this happened about how I needed to prioritize my health because of how like it's been like a month of I was sick and coughing just with a regular cold. I had like a weird gastro flu stomach pain thing. Then so that's part of why I was like, it wasn't just the COVID. It was kind of just like the last month of feeling physically horrible. I'm gonna have to blow my nose. I feel like I've had like a sneeze trapped in my nose for the last, like, since I started doing the stream. COVID after seeing you needed to focus on your health. We hear you, we see you. How about a little novel coronavirus? How about that? How about that? My grandma still hasn't gone back to 100% from when she got COVID like a month ago. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I understand, especially because like I'm not exactly the picture of health, but I'm still like relatively young. You know, I'm not young per se, but I'm still relatively young. And I'm thinking about someone that's like in their 70s or 80s having that must be like really, really dangerous, you know? Your streamless summer hours turning into 10 hours per day was very confusing to my system and subroutines. I've been getting memory wipes and oil baths since. Yeah, well, and that was the 2 bachelor weeks. So, you know, it was less days, but it was like physically more time. I guess I was not clear about that, but that's more that wasn't out of an effort to deceive anyone, but more just like just kind of figuring things out as I go. I'm gonna have to go blow my nose in a moment here. I think I'm gonna crack open this bad boy. Chin chin, everybody.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Bachelor Rob, COVID Rob.
Thank you very much, Old Dutch. 17 months, tier 2. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Little buy it quoke over here. That's right. Just to give me a moment. I'm just going to go blow my nose. I'll be right back.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
You are not immune to propaganda, and COVID bun pausers hope you doing better. TRRS Sankara seems good 100 seems good 100.
Sorry, did you hear that? I apologize. I usually mute when I go to leave to do something. Wasn't sure if that would get picked up. I apologize. Useless, thank you very much for the 200 friend coin. Very much appreciated, Useless. This cold slice of heaven is my 40th Diet Coke of the afternoon. So any of you dick nips think you can slug it down faster than me, you're welcome to get your fat asses up here to try. What is that? I feel like that's a quote of something. Midway through reading that, I was like, this might be kind of a little offensive. Well, from Always Sunny, okay. God, I'm hungry too. I did have some McDonald's yesterday. That was nice. Ugh. Nectar of the gods. So what did I do? I did get a lot of TV time. That was kind of okay. I got some time. I watched a lot of MASH when I was in bed. I watched like almost all of season 2 of MASH, the rest of season 1 and almost all of season 2. That was cool. I've been really enjoying MASH. What I watched the night before I got COVID, I watched Prey, which I really enjoyed. Prey, really good. I highly recommended that. Big fan of the Predator franchise, obviously, and that's definitely a worthy update of the franchise. Really enjoyed it. When I was sick, I watched Predator 2 though, because then I was in Predator mindset. So I revisited Predator 2, which I think is really worthy of another look. Predator 2. Really liked that. I mean, I've watched it a million times when I was younger, but hadn't watched it for a couple years. And Predator 2 has aged very well. Some of the stuff with the like the Colombian Jamaican drug gangs, that's kind of the part that has not aged very well. But overall, though, Predator 2, a really solid sequel to one of the better science fiction movies of all time. Really liked that. Really liked revisiting that. I really like how Predator 2 is, they go this different direction with it. They didn't just try to do the same movie over again. It's kind of like a hard-boiled detective story. Awesome cast, inspired casting with Danny Glover, which I think in the 90s, like when I watched it, because I loved Schwarzenegger so much, and I was saying this before, I loved the big beefy dudes from the original, but I always thought it was kind of a weird choice to have Danny Glover in the second, but really I think in retrospect, an inspired casting choice. And yeah, it's this like hard-boiled detective story. It's during this like heat wave, like climate change heat wave. Everyone is just super sweaty all the time, which is really a funny kind of like and cool part of it. The costumes in Predator 2. Glover's an action star too, but yeah, even in like Lethal Weapon though, Glover was the one that's like, I don't want to be here right now. I don't want to be doing this. And he wasn't really the guy going in guns blazing and doing all the crazy stuff. So it was still kind of like an interesting casting choice. The costumes though in Predator 2, really just tremendous. Really enjoyed revisiting that one. You got Gary Busey shows up there. You got Bill Paxton Hudson from Aliens coming through with a great little supporting performance there. Yeah, the Predator 2 the costumes are just amazing. Yeah, it's fucking great. Want to see more styles of movies? The Predators, the rom-com Predator, the high school coming of age Predator. I would definitely like to see more time periods. I think that's a really fun way to play with that format. You know, I think that's a really cool way to explore that. Give me some, you know what? Give me a Predator film during the British Raj in India, or during like the East India Company colonization of India. That would be fucking cool. Imagine the Predator just owning like redcoats. That would be tremendous. A Predator versus Samurai. Yeah, that would be good. Really, I would really highly recommend revisiting Predator 2. And again, the stuff about the like ethnic drug gangs is not ideal. Yeah, hell yeah, Old Dutch. There we go. Really worthy follow-up. Really worthy. Predator, definitely one of the best sci-fi action movies ever, but an incredibly worthy follow-up. Predator 2. So that was good. I the other day, because I saw the people freaking out about Better Call Saul finale, which I had not been keeping up with since like season 2. I just stopped watching it for some reason. Then I was, enough time passes and then you don't know how to get back into something. That was my Better Call Saul experience. So then I was like, okay, everyone's talking about the finale, so I'll start watching that again. As much as I love Predator, I liked Prey. I've never seen 2. Should probably remedy that. Absolutely, Alex. Highly recommend revisiting Predator 2. Really, really good stuff. And I guess that's the thing, kind of a personal preference thing. I just like how movies looked prior to the whole digital revolution. It just looks great. It's shot on film. It got some great action set pieces. As much as I really enjoyed Prey, I just will always prefer films from that era. It's a great finale. Didn't see it yet. Got 2 more episodes. Yeah, I just started season 3, so I'm way behind. Way behind. Hey, Mel's. Rob hates technology confirmed. That's correct. I'm a Luddite now. I'm pivoting. Being a Luddite, that's going to be my new thing. We're all on our phones too much, folks. We're all on our phones. We be looking at our phones too much. Have you been watching The Rehearsal? No, I've seen a lot of the memes and a lot of the discourse about it, but I haven't watched it yet, though. AVP is horrible. I hate AVP. I saw that in the theater, and it's terrible. Predators and 2018 got way too much attention. Forgot there was a Predator 2. Can't recommend revisiting Predator 2 enough. It's probably not as good as the original, but it has no right to be as good as it is. Outrun, I love you, but I don't, when it comes to your movie suggestions, excuse me if I maybe take a little bit with a pinch of salt. Mr. I haven't seen like 99% of like every good movie that's ever been produced, and I'm just hearing about it now. Yeah, AVP is the one where they do it's like the ancient pyramid thing. That's right. Sorry, I was touching grass as a kid. Definitely Predator, both Predator and Predator 2 were movies that I just had the VHS of. And, back in my day, before we had Netflix, before we had DVDs, you had that closet full of VHSs. And Predator 2 was definitely a film that I would just watch repeatedly on VHS. I've probably seen it dozens of times, but hadn't watched it in like 20 years. Do you have a movie top 10, Rob? See, up the Reds, if I were to do my movie top 10, I feel like it's very cliche because from the era that I grew up in. I'd say off the top of my head. It's a very, I feel like it's probably a very Reddit top 10, but that's the era that I grew up in. I would say Terminator 1 and 2 are on there. Aliens are on there. Predator is on there. That's 5. Princess Bride, Ghostbusters. I mean, Ghostbusters is like the first movie that I fell in love with, that I was obsessed with when I was a little kid. I wouldn't say RoboCop. I would say Total Recall is on there. That was another one of the VHSs that I watched a lot. I would say Total Recall is on there. That's how you know Schwarzenegger is one of the greatest actors of all time. Is 4 Schwarzenegger films are probably in my top 10 films of all time. What's rounding out the top 10? I'm not sure. Maybe White Men Can't Jump? Maybe White Men Can't Jump is on there. That's definitely top 15, top 20. I grew up in a I grew up in a James Cameron household, and that wasn't even like imposed on me. That was just something that I discovered myself. Abyss, I love the Abyss though, but that's probably not. I don't know if that would put that in my top 10. It's tremendous though. It's really, really good. I reckon this has to be in your top 20. Crossroads, is that the Crossroads, the Britney Spears film? I don't think that's in there, but I'm sure it's very good though. Oh, and Die Hard. Die Hard as well is going to be in there. I'd throw Die Hard in that top 10 as well. Very cliche top 10. Oh, and you know what? I'm leaving stuff out. I'm leaving stuff out already. We got Lebowski. That's got to be somewhere in there. Dawn of the Dead as well. Dawn of the Dead. That's one of my favorite films of all time for sure. Lebowski isn't it was VHS, but I'm just talking about films. Yeah, you got to have Pulp Fiction in there as well. See, now we're just getting off the rails. Invasion of the Body Snatchers 78, which it's another film from the Rob canon that we watched in the Discord server. Now we're getting into the sort of top 15, top 20. I don't know how to rank it. This is all unranked. Thank you, Sam. Hello, Sam. Yeah, I'm back. We're doing okay. We're hanging in there. I worked at a Blockbuster in 2005. We still had VHS. You know, I do really enjoy in Brockville when they opened up the Jumbo Video. You go and you get the free popcorn. Browse for the VHS with your popcorn. We got to bring that back. You know, we got to bring back we have to bring back both the chain video rental place and the cool independent video rental place somehow.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old
Horse,
Rob
what's up?
to talk you through all this.
All hail our COVID-free Rob.
Thank you, Famous Horse. 3 months tier 1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm back. I did it. I made it. How's Momo? Momo's okay. Frankly, Momo needs an appointment to be groomed. I don't want to get into the specific details. Momo's rear end situation is not good. It's really bad. And I had an appointment to go get her groomed on the Friday and I had to cancel it because I had COVID. So now she's just a disaster. Just an absolute disaster. I've had to try and clean it. I had to, while being sick.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Fellow patriots, I have intel from a very reliable source that Drake's birth certificate is a fraud and that he was born in America, not Canada, believe me.
Thank you, Coal Mine, for the 19 months tier 1. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the intel as well. And I'm just going to defer to you on that. So, yeah, then while being sick, I had to like try and like wash my cat's butt with like a warm washcloth. Really bad situation. She was not happy about. She was not happy about this. So she needs an appointment. She needs to get shaved. She's an absolute disaster back there. Really bad situation. Hey, comrade, social distancing. I'm back.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, comrade, social distancing, for the 2 gifted subs. Very, very kind of you.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
I feel sick listening to this. I'm sorry. I mean, people tune in because they want the intimate details of what's going on over here. Okay? People want the intimate details about what's going on with my cat's butt. That's what they tune in to this program for. Please don't tell me about your cat's butt. Okay. Well, we can cut it off now. We can cut it off. Rob was talking about VHS movies, the top movie he had on VHS. It nearly wore out and then stopped and transferred his thoughts to whatever movies he thought of at the time and decided was the hallmark of best films ever. I was just doing best films ever the whole time, Lodane, but most of my best films ever come from that period, though. Yeah, I did see Bronny's dunk, coal mine, yeah. Bronny James. I don't know. I gave you a lot of films to work with there. I must have done a good top 15, 16 there. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to go over here just for fun. We're just chatting here. There's so much like political stuff going on that we could be getting into. I don't even know if I'm going to touch any of that shit today. I think we can just right now I just kind of feel like hanging out with you all and just doing a little chatting. Maybe we should do something with the community, like watch Rob's favorite movies together with Rob. Oh, it's been, a year and we've watched, 3 or 4? That's pretty good. A just chatting stream, if you will. That's right. That is right. Amazing to see you bounce back from Havana Syndrome. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Sneakers is in there as well. That's in the top 20, definitely. Yeah, we did The Thing as well, Outrun, and we did Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead was the first one because I love that flick so much. And we did Invasion of the Body Snatchers as well. So that's a couple. That's a couple. Not a single Scorsese, Kubrick, or Kurosawa film. Okay, now we're getting... I mean, Jesus. I mean, Goodfellas is in there somewhere. Okay? As far as Kubrick, I don't know. What is my favorite Kubrick movie? It's maybe The Shining. The Shining is probably in that top 20 as well. How about that? How about that? Yeah. So yeah, a lot of stuff has gone on. A lot of stuff has definitely gone on. Are you going to read Heat 2? I kind of want to, yeah. I did rewatch Heat a couple months back, and it remains it just kicks ass still. I would kind of like to read it. Has anyone seen I Heart Huckabees? It's my favorite movie of all time. That's an odd choice for favorite film of all time, but I respect it. I do enjoy I Heart Huckabees. That's probably the best Mark Wahlberg performance. You don't get Mark Wahlberg doing a lot of like interesting characters, and I think in Huckabees, Mark Wahlberg really like is allowed to kind of like be a character actor, which is kind of fun. Any list that doesn't include the seminal classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is invalid. I definitely saw that in the theater back in 92 or whatever it was. I saw both the Ninja Turtles movies in the movie theater. Jackass has to be up there as the best movies of all time. It's definitely one of the funniest movies of all time. In terms of if it was strictly comedies, I would probably throw that in there. We talked about A Fish Called Wanda the other day. That's probably in there as well. Fish Called Wanda. We don't talk about Turtles in Time, though. One funny thing about those Ninja Turtles movies is that I feel like the animatronic quality depreciated significantly over the films. Like they looked worse. They looked worse by the time they're going back in time and stuff. And I think when that one came out, I was too old to enjoy it. Sorry to the Turtles in Time heads out there. I watched the first Turtles a couple months ago. I also went to their live concert back in the day. There's like some weird like dramatic elements. It had no right to be as like serious as it was. That first TMNT movie, when Raph is all fucked up and they put him in the bathtub and stuff, and Leo's like, "Oh no!" It's like, Jesus, this is heavy stuff. We're literally 9 years old. Like I'm literally 9 years old right now. It's serious. It's really serious stuff. Yeah, it's what I was saying the other day, HD. Kevin Kline and Fish Called Wanda. That's maybe the best comedic performance in like any film. What else was I watching, I guess? I think I covered everything. I watched a lot of MASH. I think I covered everything. Predator 2, Better Call Saul. Oh, you know what I also watched? And like Lodane, you were mentioning Star Wars stuff earlier. Can do some discourse about this. This always gets people excited. But I watched the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney series, which I had like given up on. But I was just like sweating my ass off in bed, so I was like, I might as well watch this. Which like I kind of enjoyed the series, but like in a vacuum, but don't enjoy how it retcons so much of the original series and how much it messes with the canon. I wonder, Lodane, I bet you have some feelings on this. You haven't watched it, okay. I mean, I love Revenge of the Sith. That's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. So it is kind of cool that it's like a direct sequel to Revenge of the Sith. I like actually that the prequels are kind of getting like upheld. The prequels have aged pretty well. I like the live action Grand Inquisitor. Yeah, me too. I didn't. But the ways that it messes with the lore, I think, were kind of annoying. I think just in and of itself, I enjoyed it. I mean, like, even if it was cool to see Obi-Wan and Vader again, like, and it was very emotional moment, you know, and seeing them kind of come together. But it eliminates like all the whole idea of them not seeing each other until A New Hope. And it's like all this stuff that happened apparently in between that they just don't mention, you know? They're like, oh yeah, except for that time that we had this epic battle multiple times, and you know, you have Princess Leia being like, Obi-Wan, like, you're just some guy that I've heard my dad used to know, kind of, except for the time when I was a little kid and we had this crazy adventure together and we had this bonding moment. You know, it really, like, it was cool in and of itself, the story, but the way that it messed with the lore like that, I found very kind of like annoying and hard to get over. Best rap album of all time, coal mine. God, it's a tough question. I would need to think about it more. I think off the top of my head, I'd say Wu-Tang Forever would be my tentative choice. But I'm not a huge hip hop fan. I've had periods of being a big hip hop fan. I wouldn't classify myself as like a big hip hop guy though. Personal pick is Graduation by Kanye. Okay, interesting. Anyway, that was my stance on Obi-Wan. Enjoyed it in and of itself, but the way it messed with the lore I thought was kind of frustrating. Probably worth watching though. Worth watching, I would say. You need to watch The Boys. I mean, I watched season 1. I was telling myself when I was in bed that was another thing I wanted to watch. I just never got around to getting back into it. But I probably should finish out watching this season 2, definitely, or season 3 now. Sorry, I watched season 1 and 2. I haven't seen the new one yet though. At least look up a clip of the final fight of Obi-Wan on YouTube or something. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like Squatch, like I was kind of trying to have this trying to reckon with kind of enjoying what I was seeing on the screen with like feeling this sense of frustration that the lore was being messed with. It was cool. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much about like Obi-Wan or whatever if you haven't watched it, but there's this moment in that final fight when Vader's like helmet gets damaged, and for a moment again he's just like the like angry young guy, because you think of Vader as being this kind of like ageless, timeless figure who's always in control, and you see he's this angry like teenager again for a little moment. It slips through the facade. That was kind of cool. I liked it in and of itself, but I just thought it was just weird how it messed with the established lore and the idea of them meeting up again like in A New Hope. I thought it kind of diminishes a lot of that. And it's just the idea that like that is just not mentioned when you remember that time that we had that epic battle on that planet and I buried you with all the rubble, and remember that? It's like when I last left you I was but the student or whatever. I tried watching the first episode and I couldn't stop laughing at the prequel flashbacks. So that's the thing. I love Revenge of the Sith. So, and I love the whole story with Obi-Wan and Anakin. I like in that final battle in Revenge of the Sith, it still really hits those emotional beats. You're my brother, Anakin. That still gets me every time. I loved you. Oh, that no matter what faults the prequel have, I mean, that stuff still really fucking goes. Yeah, Ewan does carry it, absolutely. And Hayden Christensen does a great job in that one, actually, I think. It also shows that Obi-Wan is maybe one of the GOATs when it comes to the Jedi. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No mention of Obi-Wan cutting off 3 of Vader's limbs at their last meeting. Like, hey man, you fucked my body up immensely. Well, that's another thing. And again, we're spoiler territory for Obi-Wan, in case you haven't watched it. I don't want to spoil it too much, but that's another thing that's impossible to get away from. It's like, not only does Obi-Wan like let him live on Mustafar or whatever, allowing him to become Vader in the first place, then gets an opportunity 10 years later to fix that mistake and fucking leaves him alive again. And like literally like lets him continue going on doing genocide for like another several years after that. I thought that was such a weird choice, and it's like you have to do that because he has to leave him alive, but like that does not make sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. It's like I've literally the second time I've done this now. I've got an opportunity to finish off Vader, who's like literally doing Jedi genocide right now, and is going to continue doing this. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to decline to finish the job once again. How about that? I'm going to decline to do the job once again. He like 10 years later after that, he goes and blows up an entire planet, kills billions of people. He blows up Alderaan like 10 years later because Obi-Wan can't just fucking finish the job. What is with that? What is going on with that? I've never watched Clone Wars, although I've heard good things about Clone Wars. Obi-Wan is very lib. It's true, yeah. I mean, that's another thing that it kind of it messes with the lore of as well. It's like I like the idea of Obi-Wan in A New Hope just being like a kooky old guy that's just been in the desert for the last whatever 20 years doing nothing. The whole thing that like, oh, also I was mostly doing nothing except for that one period where I was like, you know, going and doing all crazy adventure stuff and, you know, being a Jedi again. If you're still waiting to vote out Palpatine, stay in line. That's the amazing thing, too, because Revenge of the Sith is really a film about how liberal democracy enables fascism. I mean, that's what all the whole prequels are about, really. George Lucas is very based. We don't talk about this enough. I want a Saw Gerrera movie. Well, isn't that, like, there's that new show with the guy from Rogue One, which his Saw Gerrera's in there. Yeah. Andor, that's right. He blames himself for turning Anakin into Vader. Well, I know that, but like, it's like you got to finish the job here, sir. Like, he literally kills billions of people after that. And you already made the mistake once, and you're like, you know what? I've gotten a chance to get a do-over here, and I'm going to go ahead and make the exact same decision. How about that?
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I just want to know what the fuck was going through George's head when he designed Jar Jar and picked the voice. Definitely, I mean, mistakes were made. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. I don't think I have seen it, God's Own Drunk, but I know it's like it's the T. What's it called?
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
TRRS Sankara comrades.
Oh my. Jamaican Patty, thanks for the 18 months tier 1. Thank you, Jamaican Patty. Thank you, God's Own Drunk, for the 8 months of Prime as well. Thank you. I saw It So Young, but I like Jar Jar. Well, I mean, I guess that was the reasoning behind Jar Jar and George Lucas. He's just like, little kids want to see a silly guy. They just want to see a silly, funny guy with a big long tongue that flops around when he gets electrocuted. He is a little racist, though. Couple of racist caricatures in that film. Both Ashoka and Obi-Wan couldn't get it done because they cared about Anakin too much. I personally would have aced him, but I'm built different. Well, that's the whole thing, Squatch, right? In the end of Obi-Wan, he's like, so my friend really is dead. Like, he accepts the idea that Anakin is gone. He's gone forever. So it should be no problem then to just, you know, he's there. You've got him. Can't even breathe. His mask is all fucked up. He's literally just like, you know, what's the problem? I'm built different as well. I would have zero problem with that. Do you subscribe to the Jar Jar Binks as a Sith theory, or are you a sheep? I mean, I do think that there's, I don't know if I believe that he's a Sith, but doesn't he cast the deciding vote to give Palpatine all the power and to turn him into the Emperor and everything? There's something to it. The editing for it is really ahead of its time. It's why it won the awards. It's only a minute long. Worth the watch, just in case anyone asked if George Lucas was ever political. Well, I mean, even A New Hope, the whole thing about A New Hope is it's about fucking the Viet Cong. Like, the Jedi and the Rebellion are the Viet Cong, and the Empire are the United States. Like, that's the basic lesson of Star Wars that so many people just seem to have missed. You know, we're the Empire. That's us. That we're the ones that do that. And it's not supposed to be like, oh, it's the cool aesthetic, the cool like fascist empire aesthetic. Like, no, that's supposed to be bad. We're supposed to understand that that's bad, and that not only is it bad, but that is us that do that. People are like, you made it woke. You made Star Wars woke. And it's literally like it couldn't be more obvious, the analogy there. I got a Star Wars tattoo with the Empire symbol when I was 18. So got it's hidden from view now. Yeah, that's I don't know, Banana Grabber. That's not great. I'm sorry to say. It's called a railway plot when Anakin absolutely positively has to turn into Darth Vader and goes from caring about his dear wife to murdering tons of children just because he had a nightmare. Yeah. Well, there's definitely some problems with that whole arc. For sure. It really works for me in Revenge of the Sith, though. Original trilogy is about revolution. The prequels are about descent into fascism. The sequels are about making money off nostalgia. Yeah. The Jedi's of the Falun Gong. The way George Lucas talks about Soviet filmmaking is also very based from what I've seen. He laughs when people talk about censorship in communist countries because he knows how the Hollywood system actually works. Yeah, definitely someone that's definitely a lot more politically interesting than I think we ever really gave him credit for. And I guess when you talk about the prequels as well, I think that's one thing about the original series was that Lucas was there like masterminding the whole thing, but he was also bringing in like Irving Kershner and bringing in different screenwriters and filmmakers to like make the films. Who would bring in different ideas. And I guess that's part of the problem is that the prequels was really like a one-man show, like George Lucas and a bunch of yes men, which led to some, I think, more less good results as a result. I don't dislike Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but I'm actually shocked Rise of Skywalker was so incredibly bad. Come on, J.J. Abrams is a fucking joke now. Yeah, I would say Force Awakens was the only Disney Star Wars trilogy film that I enjoyed, really. I really didn't like Last Jedi, even though it did have some worthwhile moments. I really walked away from it feeling like I really did not enjoy this. And Force Awakens was basically just a remake of the first film, but it was like really, the casting was really good. It felt like, you created some kind of new cool characters that would be cool to hang around with, which just gets completely wasted in the other films. And then Rise of Skywalker is just this just a complete mess. I did enjoy Rogue One though. I did enjoy that. Like when Force Awakens and Rogue One came out, I was feeling pretty good about the whole Star Wars Disney prequels, and it really dropped off in quality. Although I haven't seen Solo, I've heard Solo is better than it gets credit for. It's more than that. I just like kind of get annoyed at telling stories about the same characters and having recasting the other actors as these classic characters. I would like to just see new stories. I don't really feel the need to fill in the blanks of all these like this is what they were doing when they were younger. I know sometimes these characters are just more interesting when you don't have that backstory filled in. What are the separatists supposed to represent? Yeah, I'm not totally sure, Coal Mine. That's what I mean. Like I think like what we were saying, I think the original film is more of a direct analogy, like a Vietnam analogy, and I think the prequels are a little bit more confused, but are sort of about just the way that liberal democracy descends into fascism. And Ainsley in the chat is regaling us with the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I do love how the prequel memes have like really survived. I finally saw the final sequel film in July with family who wanted to watch it. I literally couldn't make it halfway through. It is so bad. And I remember when it was one of the last movies I saw in the theater before COVID. I think the very last one I saw was Frozen 2 in the theater, which is pretty good. And in fact, I would say the music in I don't know if this is a hot take, but the music in Frozen 2 is significantly better than the music in the first film. It's not even like a good bad. Yeah, it's like I went to see Rise of Skywalker and I was like, there's no way that it's that bad. Like, I'm still looking forward to seeing it. I'm sure it's got, and I watched it and I was just like, this is really has no redeeming qualities. Although, you know what I did like in Rise of Skywalker is Babu Frick. Babu Frick. I thought that was the one worthwhile element of Rise of Skywalker. That's pretty much the only thing I remember about it. J.J. Abrams is not a good storyteller director. I mean, that's the thing about the Disney trilogy is just that, like, you've got people complaining about the prequels now for years. You have an opportunity to do this brand new Star Wars trilogy, mega budget Star Wars trilogy, and you just have no plan. The first film is just a remake of A New Hope, and then you're just completely flying by the seat of your pants. And then, like, the second and third film are just this, like, meta-textual slap fight between these two creative visions. And Rian Johnson being like, no, we got all the stuff that you like about Star Wars. Guess what? It actually sucks. And then everyone getting mad at that. And then the next film being like, all that stuff that we said sucks was actually good. And, like, that's the whole that's the new trilogy. You know? You can't just come up with a basic plan for 3 films. You know, you can still have some room to improvise in between there. You can't come up with just a basic 3-act structure and then make the movies. Like, that's the amazing thing. With all that money and all that resources, they, like, literally, the prequels were better than I agree. Yeah, they're better than the sequels, despite all the problems. At least there's, like, a sort of interesting and coherent sort of through line between all these films.
Have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
They did my boy Rian Johnson dirty. I blame the woman in charge of it.
Oh shit, Doc. Typical Doc Hollywood, blaming a woman. Wow, that's pretty messed up, Doc. But thank you for the 10 months tier 2, Doc. I think it was a little problematic what you just said, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Any random Star Wars fan could have written a better sequel trilogy. Yeah, I agree. Like, I absolutely agree. Yeah, they fly now. You gotta do the soy banter. Put the soy banter in there. Kylo Ren's right behind me, isn't he? And, like, the whole arc of, like, Ben Solo and Kylo Ren, that could have been really well done. And Adam Driver's a great actor. Like, he really did his best with it. And in fact, I really liked the casting of them. Like, all the actors that they got were great. But, like, it's just so fucking forced and it's so bad. So all the stuff at the end of Rise of Skywalker with him, like, becoming good again, it doesn't land. It could have been great. Like, it could have been really cool. They still had the basic outline of, like, an interesting character there. And it's just like, it just did not work. It was not good. Yeah, somehow Palpatine came back. Like that, and that was like one of the interesting choices about Last Jedi. This whole idea that, like, oh, this big bad guy that we just set up, guess what? He's gone. Doesn't even matter. And all the stuff about Rey's parentage and stuff going on. No, you're just a random person. There's no secret parentage. Like, that's, even though I didn't really like the movie, that was at least, like, an interesting creative choice. And then in the next movie, they're just like, no, forget about that. No. Yeah, no, it's all part of, like, this lineage of different genetic space wizards, I guess. And you have to be part of this in order to matter in this universe. And then it's like, oh yeah, the big bad guy that we got rid of in the second movie. Well, now we're just bringing back a new big bad guy. Rian Johnson is a good filmmaker. I think I've talked about this before, Doc. I love Brick. And that's the whole reason that when Rian Johnson got tapped to direct the movie, I was like, fuck, I love Ryan Johnson. Brick is like one of my favorite recent movies. I think he's gonna hit out of the park. I remember because I was talking with the Struggle Session guys a lot, Jack and Leslie Lee III from Struggle Session. I was in their Discord often around the same time, and they were really heavily involved in shitting on that creative decision and saying that it's going to be a mess. And I was like, no, Ryan Johnson's going to crush this one. And I was in the theater after about 15 minutes in the theater, like early on in the movie. I was just like, I hate this. This sucks. It's not the bad soy banter. There are a lot of bad soy banter in that one. It felt like in the opening scene in the movie with Poe Dameron or whatever, and he's doing the like broken telephone thing. He's like, "Are you putting me on hold?" He's there in the X-wing doing, and I was like, "What is this? This looks like it looks like an SNL sketch of like making fun of Star Wars." Like opening, like literally in the first few seconds of the movie. So right off the bat, I'm just like, this is not good, and then it just puts me in a bad. I couldn't enjoy the rest of the movie at all because I was just like, right out of the bat, right out of the gate, not good. Yeah, I thought them teasing that Ben and Rey would team up in Last Jedi had revolutionary potential. They just scrapped that. Yeah, that's they pushed up against some kind of interesting ideas there, and then just kind of was like, maybe not actually. I remember, so I saw Looper in theater because I liked Ryan Johnson and because I thought it looked cool, but I tried to watch it the other day again. I thought it was unwatchable. I must admit. I think I tried to watch Looper a few months back, and I was like, it's so patently absurd, the whole premise, and the whole like using voiceover narration to explain the whole premise of like, this is how we get rid of people in the future. But it's like, this is the worst, this is the most convoluted way to murder people that you could possibly ever have. Like surely there's better ways to murder someone even in the future than to go through this whole convoluted process. You know, I liked it when I saw it in the theater, but I tried to rewatch it. And I was like, I can't make it through this. And you know, it's science fiction. Usually you should just be able to ignore the silly plot holes and that kind of stuff. But I couldn't get past that. Johnson did do some very good Breaking Bad episodes. Having only seen Looper and Knives Out from Ryan Johnson's catalog, I can say for certain Looper is a top 2 Ryan film for me. Knives Out was such a Twitter movie. I feel like, and so, you know what, so was Last Jedi. Last Jedi was, I think, a movie that had way too many like metatextual commentaries about like Twitter bullshit and the whole like the like Hillary figure in the movie that like the young guys didn't trust her to make the right decisions and she nobly sacrificed herself. It was purely like a Still With Her. It was a Still With Her movie, Last Jedi, and so was Knives Out. It was with a lot of the dialogue in that. I did enjoy in Knives Out Daniel Craig's silly accent though. I did enjoy that. I love it. I love to see an actor just having fun, you know? The Bernie Bros forced her to sacrifice herself. That's literally the plot of Last Jedi. That's literally the plot. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's very lib. And then we talked about like, you know, George Lucas's like fairly radical politics from the first movie, and Last Jedi is just very like lib, Still With Her bullshit. With rubbing up against some kind of interesting ideas that it fails to follow through on. Remember when I think Leslie Lee III or Jack Allison pointed out on Twitter that the character was an obvious Hillary reference and like thousands of people got mad, even though you would have to be an idiot not to see this. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, those two were proven absolutely correct about their I don't always agree with Jack and Leslie, but like they were proven absolutely correct about not only about rehabbing the prequels, which a lot of people have come around to now, but about their criticisms of Disney Star Wars as well. They were 100% correct. And people didn't want to hear them. Didn't want to hear what they had to say, but they were absolutely correct. God. It's funny that we're just my first stream back and we're talking about Last Jedi and doing film discourse for the last 90 minutes. I missed you, chat. This is fun. It's fun for me. It's fun for me to do this. Yeah, Daniel Craig and Knives Out, though. I didn't love the movie. It was still a very liberal Twitter movie, but again, I'd love to see an actor just like, I'm just going to create a wacky guy. I always enjoy that. What's the line? He says, "I don't understand it. Compels me, though." I like that. That's the one thing that I remember from that movie. Fogdan Craighorn. Tim Curry is Palpatine in Clone Wars. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Maybe I'll have to check that out eventually. Give us your best Foghorn Leghorn. I think I could only. I do declare. That's the only. I think that's the only thing I can say. I don't want to try and do a whole dialogue like that. I don't think I could do it. That would need practice, I think. Cultural appropriation. It's great to see you back and alive, Rob. I enjoy a good Star Wars talk, especially since I've been nerding out over it more and more recently, minus the sequels. Yeah, and it started off talking about Obi-Wan because I watched that when I had COVID, which I do recommend watch. I enjoyed it in and of itself, but the way it fucked with the canon and the established lore, I thought was kind of annoying. But if you worked on it really hard, you could do a spot on Marvin the Martian. We're really going into the well here with the characters. I'm not that old, okay, Outrun. I know I'm old. I know I'm a middle-aged man here, but like, these are getting pretty old references here. The Looney Tunes characters. I also watched it when I got COVID. Yeah. That was the one positive thing about having COVID, which sucked. You know, it was really fucking shitty having COVID, but it was nice. Well, I don't even know if I want to say it was nice, but just being able to have some TV time to catch up on some of these things was good. Guest spot on a Charlie Chaplin tramp picture. Did Looney Tunes not play over Canada on Saturday mornings? And they're like, I mean, I guess it did. I wouldn't call myself a big like Looney Tunes head though. I've had COVID 3 times now. My last time was the worst. It's fuck. Like this is the thing that I'm like really worried now. Like even though we just went through a whole year of school, my kid being in kindergarten, when we were apparently all fine. I'm really paranoid about getting it again now because I felt so fucking horrible. The longer it's gone on since I've seen it, I've been liking it more, especially the final fight between Obi-Wan and Vader. I also can't get enough as Ewan as Obi-Wan. Well, that was my feeling as well, Rudy Prospero, but I just find it annoying, even though I enjoyed seeing them together again. I enjoyed that in and of itself, but I don't enjoy how it kind of messes with their meeting again in A New Hope. I thought it kind of lessens a lot of that stuff that they don't mention. Like, remember the last time I was saying this before, but like, I haven't seen you since we got in that epic battle again, and you covered me with that rubble and everything, and I neglected to kill you again. I enjoyed it, seeing it, but I think it was kind of weird the way it messed with the lore. My dad recorded his favorite Looney Tunes reruns the old-fashioned bootleg way with 2 VCRs in preparation to my parents having me. See, I more remember, like, the Saturday morning cartoons I woke up was really the early 90s shit, like the Ninja Turtles. You know a random cartoon from the early 90s that I don't know if anyone remembers but me, but was Pirates of Dark Water. Remember that one? The Ghostbusters cartoon. Darkwing Duck, all that kind of stuff. But one classic cartoon that I remember this really distinctly was the one, I think it's Donald Duck and Goofy. I had it on VHS when they get trapped in the desert. And I remember very specifically, like, Goofy like wastes all the water or whatever, and Donald Duck is like trying to get the last drop of water, and he's holding his hand in the sand and like trying to get the last water, and he's trying to drink it. For some reason that just like stuck in my memory, and then they go and find like a Mirage or whatever, getting Muay Thais at the Mirage little pool there. For some reason that's like a strong childhood memory for me. Astro Boy. I didn't watch a lot of Astro Boy. Definitely Inspector Gadget though. Yeah. Remember SWAT Cats? No, I don't remember SWAT Cats. I do remember Cops though. Cops. When you had the one guy with like the arm, like the handcuff arm thing. Rob, how cool was it to see Looney Tunes cartoons at the movie theaters when they were premiering? Wow. Okay. Did you ever watch Batman the Animated Series or the sequel series like Superman Justice League or Justice League Unlimited? I definitely watched a lot of Batman the Animated Series, and it's funny you mentioned that, Colemine, because I have been watching that with my son. I've been watching that with my son, the Batman Animated Series. He's been really digging that as well. I got to be a little too old because this was when I was like a preteen, I guess. So when Justice League Unlimited and all this stuff came out, I was maybe a little old to be watching that stuff, but definitely Batman the Animated Series. Watched a lot of that. X-Men, yeah, absolutely. Of course I remember Reboot, yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, you can't do that on television. That's something I watched as well. YTV. Watched a lot of YTV. Rewatched the original X-Men series, and it's so damn funny. And they're doing a new version of that, right? They're doing a new, like, 90s X-Men version. Either a series or something. I know that's coming out soon. I know we're old, Logane. I know we're old. It's a continuation of that series. Okay. Cool. I'm getting pretty hungry. Oh yeah, I love that X-Men theme song. It's so great. I have it in my head as well. It's funny. It's funny seeing like with Disney Plus, the whole like Spider-Man animated series that came out around the same time as the X-Men series and had a lot of the same kind of animation style, which I didn't even know existed. I never saw that when I was a kid. I did not know it existed whatsoever. The like 90s Spider-Man animated series, which my kid loves now, but like I never watched that. Sorry. I had no idea there was a Spider-Man animated series. It's pretty good too. Like it's I had no idea either. It was weird growing up like that, right? And it's like you just the idea that there's these things that were out there, they just had no idea that it was there. Spectacular Spider-Man was better than 90s Spider-Man. I mean, I've watched both extensively because my son loves Spider-Man so much. I don't know what I prefer. The Spectacular Spider-Man is pretty good. And there was also that weird 90s Spider-Man cartoon, the Spider-Man Unlimited, when he goes to Earth 2 and he's got a whole new like nano costume with like a cape. Where was that? And he's fighting all these like weird animal hybrids and stuff. Like what was that? What was that? What was with that? My kid's been getting into that old Sonic stuff as well, old Dutch. He loves that. Remember the preview channel? I think that was probably my most watched channel of all the channels. Just sitting there watching the preview channel, trying to find something good. Yo, Rob, thanks for tuning me on to Steely Dan. I'm trying to learn peg on piano while I watch some very tricky chord changes in that. And in fact, in all of those songs, Banana Grabber. I'm not going to put it on the screen because people will get mad. But there's an amazing clip of Don Fagen with his like musical director talking about the sort of like talking about peg and how they kind of came up with the chord progression and came up with the song. It's really, really cool. I just hit a preview channel for streaming now. There should have one, yeah. You should. Lodane, come on, I'm sick. I'm sick. I was on death's door this week, Lodane. You let me have this, okay? Let me have a little small crumb of Steely Dan discourse. He was sickly Dan. Thank you. My COVID brain fog has made me forget the Dan band. That's right. You got COVID in August 22 and you were close to death. I don't know, man. I got to say, be cool, Theo. I did honestly question whether I was dying on a number of occasions. I must admit. You know, I don't know if I actually was close to dying. Probably not. It certainly felt like that though. It was not good. I still have never had it. Do not recommend it, Theo. Do not recommend it whatsoever. highly unpleasant. The novel coronavirus. Folks, still just continue wearing your masks. Continue wearing your masks, okay? Please. I don't know, Coal Mine. I would probably just have to go with the classic Joker. I don't really like. I'm not a huge Batman fan, I guess. Ugh. I wear my mask everywhere and still got it. Well, that's the same with me. I mean, I got it as well at what I believe I got it at the Brockville, Ontario Walmart. This video of Fagan talking about Peg is like 20 minutes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You're welcome. You're welcome, Banana Grabber. Happy to help. Ugh. What else we got? There's a lot of discourse about films. I don't know how we got into it, but a lot of discourse about films, Predator films, Star Wars. Now we're doing early 90s cartoons, comic book cartoons. Really enjoyed those Arkham City games. Yeah, that's how I got into talking about it, Amazing Bird Show, because the night before I woke up with COVID, I did watch Prey and really enjoyed it. Really liked it a lot. Although, as much as I enjoyed Prey and thought it was a worthy Predator sequel, it also made me revisit, and I don't want to get into this too much because I already talked about it a lot, but I revisited Predator 2, which I really highly recommend. Arkham Knight wasn't great, but the first two were awesome. I liked Arkham Knight. Maybe not the story quite as much, but I did like the Batmobile element that was in there. I liked a lot of the gameplay. Really enjoyed those. The gangs in Predator 2 are a lot of fun. Well, that was the thing I was thinking. Like, even though I enjoyed it, I think it's like that's probably not aged that well. The kind of like Colombian and Jamaican gang caricatures in that film. That's probably the one element that maybe it didn't really age that well, even though it is. You could describe it as fun. Yes. I was just thinking the Colombian guy in the beginning just has this thing of cocaine and just goes, just like I was watching that, in my like COVID fever dream, going like, that's a little problematic. That's a little. maybe that's something we could cut out. I think I have a little more nuance in there. But really awesome sequel though. Definitely. Although I've already done Predator 2 discourse, so I'm going to move on from it. I don't want to get into it again. Oh, I didn't play Arkham Origins. Coal Mine didn't play that one. Oh, you know what game that I need to pick up though is that Cult of the Lamb game. I see everyone's playing that Cult of the Lamb game on Twitch. That seems kind of cool. And even though this community and this channel is not a cult, I think that'd probably be something fun to play on the stream, right? Should I pick that up? How much is that? I think it's the extent to which this community is not a cult is what makes me want to watch it, or what makes me want to play it. Let me see here. $27. Start your own cult in the land of false prophets, venturing out into diverse and mysterious regions to build a loyal community of woodland followers and spread your word to become the one true cult. That sounds fun. That could be a fun game to do on stream. You need to play that game to prove that you're not a cult leader once and for all. That's right. That's exactly right. LeBron's just signed with the Lakers again? That's interesting. I think with Twitch integration, some of us subscribers will pop up in that game too. Okay, so now I have to do it, don't I? Now I have to do it. Now I have to purchase this game, unfortunately. And this is a business expense. This is a business expense. The fact that I'm purchasing Cult of the Lamb right now at this very moment. I will be writing this off on my taxes next year. Just so you're all aware of that. With the company card, that's right. Look at these receipts submitted ASAP, Mr. Cypher. Man, the fucking CIA accounting department is just completely up my ass.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I am glad you did not die _carrot.
Thank you, Phil. 1 entire year of tier 1 from Increasingly Phil. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. What a nice welcome back to Twitch. And again, there's so much stuff going on. There's plenty of things to be like to get into in terms of like geopolitics and imperialism and all the stuff that we normally talk about. I will get there, okay? I don't think we're going to do it today. In fact, I think I'm going to go somewhat soon. I'm coming up on 2 hours. I'm already pretty tired. I don't want to talk too much more. So I don't think I'll stick around too much longer today. But we will, I should be back tomorrow. I will say the schedule is going to be a little wonky for definitely the rest of this week and next, because my kid doesn't start school for 2 more weeks. So, and this is like we kind of planned a whole summer of like activities and vacation and childcare and stuff and camp, but just these last 2 weeks we kind of don't really have anything, so we're kind of it's a little bit trickier to do the stream at the normal time for the next 2 weeks. But then he's going to be back at school, and then at that point I will be back to like the regular schedule of the stream, doing the stream every single day. I was thinking about maybe starting to do the show a bit earlier. I actually really liked in my bachelor week doing my longer streams. I don't think I'm going to be doing 9-hour streams every day, but I'm considering, once I get back into my sort of full-time schedule, maybe starting an hour or so earlier, maybe a little bit more. Well, because Squatch, the only time I can, if I want to make the show longer, the only time I can only extend it in one direction, because I get to a cutoff point, my kid gets off school, and then it becomes really difficult. So if I want to start doing like more 5 or 6 hour streams, the only way I can do it is by starting earlier. West Coasters in shambles, and again, this is a deliberate provocative move on my part to upset upset the viewers of the stream, the community members on the West Coast. I don't know if longer is better. Why go longer? I don't know, Lodane. I kind of enjoy doing the longer streams. I had some time to do gaming. I had some time to do other stuff. So that's why, it's also like it's a little bit less stressful with the whole sub goal, like giving it a little bit more time to get there every day. This is a coordinated attack against us for our perfect weather. That's absolutely correct. That's exactly what's going on here. That is exactly what's happening. Would it be easier or even logical to, on longer streams where there's a content shift, politics to gaming, that you stop the stream and go live again? So the VODs aren't so long that YouTube can't remove copyrighted stuff. I don't know. I don't know the logic of that, Rod. I'm not totally sure. I've never really thought about that. I guess the only reason that's hard is that I like to see the little number go up to high numbers on this session. Thank you, Valkyrie of the North. I appreciate that. Thank you. Finally, us Europeans get something for once. We gotta throw our European friends a bone every now and then. We do, They're already going through a lot. Our friends in the UK, our friends in Europe, They need refuge from Putin, so that's why we need to give them a little something. Yeah, I would probably prefer. Honestly, I'd probably prefer to just do it all in one go. I agree.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Bits.
Pootler free zone. That's right. Absolutely. Oh, this is all just like, I'm just spitballing here. I'm spitballing as well, Lodane. So who knows? Who knows what's going on? I mean, often I just, even if I wanted to start the stream at 10 a.m. or whatever, often I'm just not ready to do it also. So. It's so depressing witnessing fellow Europeans still losing their shit over Ukraine and Putin, and the brainwashing here is massive. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Comrade social distancing. On that subject, we actually, on the Insurgents podcast, we just did an episode with Jack Crosby, who's been in Ukraine, kind of reporting on the whole conflict, which is kind of interesting. It's like I think because of Jack's a really nice guy and a cool guy. I think he's got a very kind of specific perspective about the whole thing from someone that has been there. We had an interesting talk last night. We should put that out pretty soon. I think there were some things that he said that I didn't totally agree with personally. I did try to push him on a few things and ask the questions that I think people, that watch this show for stream would want me to ask someone that has been doing that reporting. It's kind of an interesting mix. Again, I think he did have a sort of very viewpoint that I think we have kind of moved away from a little bit on here. But I think definitely a worthwhile interview, and definitely something that people should check out anyways, just for that perspective. That'll be coming out pretty soon. It's a bonus episode. What's the last contemporary kids movie you watched with your kid that you hated? Um, I'm not sure Godzone drunk. I didn't really like the Scoob movie. I wouldn't say I hated it. My kid really liked it. I didn't really love that one though. And apparently they made a sequel to the Scoob movie as well, and they just scrapped the whole thing. It was like 95% finished, and they're just not releasing it, which my kid is going to be disappointed with because he really liked that one. They scrappy dude it. That's right. I feel like they kind of forced superhero shit into the Scoob universe with the whole Blue Falcon, which of course worked perfectly on my kid because my kid is obsessed with superhero stuff. And he loves the Blue Falcon from Scoob. Please, the Scooby-verse. I know, Husker. I know. The Scoob-verse is in jeopardy. They call him Scooby, but he doesn't do. Oh, fuck, that's funny. The show should be called Velma. Yeah. As he stopped trying to watch Invincible, he hasn't tried to watch that in a while. He only ever watches the pilot, which I've told him repeatedly. Like I've told you before, he cannot watch beyond the first 90% of it. It gets to the point before the end happens, and I'm like, you have to turn this off, or you're going to traumatize yourself forever if you watch what's going to happen here. I've even kind of told him what happens, and even that I think he's had a hard time accepting. You can't watch the end of that episode. No. Was that a Trump impression? It was an impression of someone doing a Trump impression. I've told you, I told you last week, folks, that I need to work on my Trump impression. It's something that I need to hold myself accountable for the fact that it's been, years since Trump was like this central figure in everyone's fucking life. And I've never really put in the effort to do a good Trump. I'm going to get there, though. I'm going to work on this for your benefit. You all know that I'm a master of impressions. I'm so dedicated to the Trump impression, he went out and got COVID and struggled to breathe. That's right. That's correct. That's exactly why I did this. Okay, so I gotta go. It's been 2 hours. I'm tired, and I'm also just tired of talking now. So I'm gonna get going. If I could get to the sub goal, that would be a nice way to welcome me back to Twitch, right? Considering I almost died. I'm here. I'm still physically ill, and I'm here, trying to entertain and try to hang out with all you folks. That would be kind of cool,
You've just
right?
become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Thank you very much, Pissed. We really missed you. One of the original valued community members.
Old Rob to talk you through all this.
Welcome back, King.
Remember long COVID.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk
symptoms
you
are
through
tied.
all this.
Glad you're feeling better, Rob.
Remember, long COVID symptoms are tied to pushing it. Please take it easy, like you have mono or something. Overdoing it will fuck you long term. Yeah, I remember you saying that as well in the Discord. I've been trying to keep that in mind. That's been one of the tricky things about having the kid around and stuff, is that it's made that kind of difficult. Thank you again, Pissed, for the 5 gifted subs. That was very kind of you, and we really missed having you in the chat and in the community. I really appreciate that. Bigger Wig, thanks for 21 months, tier 1. Thank you, Bigger Wig, very much appreciated. And Ghost as well. Thank you for the 19 months, tier 1, Ghost. I appreciate it. Glad you're feeling
count
better.
on me.
I'm almost
good
feeling
old
better.
Rob
Not
to
totally.
talk you through all this.
One more. Why not A?
Oh my goodness. Bits and Bytes for Bots. 4 months of Prime. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind of you, everyone. This is why being an active Discord member would have done me some good. I just had to assume you were in the presence of second vacation, Rob. You gotta join that Discord server. You gotta join the Discord server. And again, take it from me. I'm not someone that used Discord a lot. Again, I am old. It was hard for me to become an active, and even I'm barely active compared to some people in the community, but really, really worthwhile to join that Discord server and to take the time to check in there. Really, really wonderful. I never forgot about anybody. Never. What do we got here? We'll rate our friend DJ Mule. I hope you enjoyed that. Mule's been doing, I've seen that Mule's been doing a lot of obviously the work that I do here on Twitch is activism and politics. We all know this. Mule has been doing some secondary activism of actual real life stuff, tenant organizing and protecting people that are being victimized by cruel, evil landlords and stuff. Obviously, it's not as much of a high level of organizing and politics as the kind of Twitch streaming that I do, but still very cool though that he's been doing that. You know? So we got to support that. So thanks again everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate the warm welcome back to Twitch. I missed you all, chat. I missed doing the stream. I should be back tomorrow and the next day. I don't know, again, it'll probably be around the same length. But I will be back, all right? So thanks again for watching. We didn't talk about anything serious this entire time. Isn't that cool? Join the Discord. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone. I love you. Take care.